let's be honest, if you're anything like me, the whole world of weight loss, wellness, it can feel like just a constant flood of information, right? And often contradicting itself.
Oh, absolutely. It's overwhelming.
So today we're kind of hitting pause on that overwhelm. We've got this really comprehensive guide here looking at natural weight loss and metabolic health. And our goal is pretty simple. Let's pull out the golden nuggets, the stuff that actually matters, the stuff you can actually use.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating about the material we've been digging into is how much it stresses that all these pieces are weight, sure, but also energy levels, digestion, even inflammation. They're all so deeply connected.
Yeah.
It's really not just about focusing on one single thing.
Right. So yeah, we are definitely talking about strategies to support a healthy weight, but this deep dive is really about the bigger picture. It's about understanding how you can naturally maybe give your metabolism a bit of a boost, get a handle on those cravings that sometimes trip us up.
Yeah, those can be tough.
Totally. And how to fuel your energy the right way, make sure digestion is working smoothly like a well-oiled machine, and also kind of turn down the dial on inflammation. This guide really highlights how it all works together.
And it's such a widespread issue, isn't it? The guide actually kicks off by citing some pretty significant WHO stats from 2022.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, something like 1.9 billion adults overweight and over 650 million actually classified as obese.
Wow, those numbers are... Well, they're a stark reminder. This isn't just about how we look.
Not at all.
Our source material is really clear that being overweight or obese significantly bumps up the risk for some serious health conditions. Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke.
And even things like joint problems, hormonal imbalances, certain cancers too. It's a long list.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit then.
Yeah.
When you see those numbers and just how complex it all seems, what jumps out from the guide about why these issues are often so challenging for people?
Well, the guide really hammers home this point about the intricate dance between all our body systems. It's just not as simple as, calories in, calories out.
Right, that old equation.
Exactly. Your metabolic rate, how your body actually manages energy, the level of inflammation you might have, how well you're digesting food and absorbing nutrients. Even our emotional relationship with food plays a huge role.
Absolutely. And metabolism. That's often the first thing people think about with weight, isn't it?
It usually is.
The guide defines metabolism as basically the process of converting food and drink into energy. So what's the downside then if someone has a slow metabolism?
Well, as the guide explains it, a slower metabolism just means your body isn't burning through calories quite as efficiently. That applies both when you're resting and when you're active.
Okay.
And the result of that is, well, you might find you gain weight more easily or really struggle to lose it, even if you feel like you're eating pretty mindfully.
And what are some of the common reasons the guide gives for why someone's metabolism might be sluggish?
It lists several things. Some are just natural shifts, like things that happen as we age.
Right.
But lifestyle factors are huge. Not enough physical activity, maybe not getting enough good quality sleep, losing muscle mass over time.
Yeah.
Chronic stress is another big one. And, of course, the kinds of foods we eat, a poor diet. The guide also mentions specific medical things, like an underactive thyroid hypothyroidism.
So it's definitely a complex picture, but the good news is the guide then moves into practical, natural ways we can maybe give our metabolism a bit of a nudge. What are some key strategies it highlights?
Yeah, it focuses on a few core approaches. Strength training comes up as really important.
Why is that?
Because building muscle tissue
Yeah.
actually increases your resting metabolic rate. Think of muscle as being like metabolically active tissue. It burns more calories than fat, even when you're just sitting around.
Right, just to maintain itself.
Exactly. And then there's HIIT, high-intensity interval training, that gets mentioned too for being effective.
Ah, yes, the short bursts.
Yeah, those short, intense bursts of activity followed by rest periods. It seems to give metabolism a good kickstart.
Makes sense. Short, sharp effort. I can see how that would rev things up. What else does the guide suggest on the metabolism front?
Well, certain foods and drinks can play a role too. Green tea and coffee get a mention.
Okay.
Thanks to caffeine and compounds called catechins, they seem to have these thermogenic properties, basically helping your body produce a bit more heat and burn a few more calories. It's usually a temporary boost, but still helpful.
Interesting.
Protein-rich foods are also key. They have a higher thermic effect of food, or TEEF. Meaning your body actually uses up more energy just digesting protein compared to digesting fats or carbs.
Okay.
Even spicy foods, like chili peppers containing capsaicin, can give you a temporary metabolic uptick, and something really basic, just staying well hydrated. Drinking enough water can also slightly increase the calories your body burns at rest for a short while.
It's amazing how often water comes up. It's so fundamental. The guide also briefly mentions supplements, doesn't it? Any standouts there?
It does touch on them. It mentions things like L-carnitine, CLA, and B-complex vitamins as potentially supporting metabolic function. But, it's really important to frame these as supplements.
Right. Additions, not the main event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're meant to supplement a healthy lifestyle, not replace the fundamentals of diet and exercise.
That's a crucial distinction. Okay, let's shift the gears a bit. Another really common challenge, appetite. And those persistent cravings.
Mm-hmm.
The guide acknowledges that overeating can really throw a wrench in the works, and it often stems from things like emotional stress, maybe blood sugar swings, or even just being dehydrated. So what natural approaches does it suggest for keeping appetite in check?
It offers several natural strategies. Focusing on fiber-rich foods is one. Think chia seeds, oats, beans, lentils, that sort of thing.
You say they fill you up.
Exactly. They promote that feeling of fullness, help you stay satisfied longer. Protein's another big one, especially having it at breakfast.
Yeah.
It seems to help regulate hunger hormones during the day.
Okay.
Healthy fats, avocados, nuts, olive oil. They also contribute to satiety, that feeling of being full and content. And again, hydration. Sometimes we mistake thirst for hunger.
Oh, I've definitely done that before. Feel hungry, have a glass of water, and realize, oh, I was just thirsty.
It happens all the time.
What about some of the more specific things the guide mentioned? Any particular foods or herbs?
Yeah, apple cider vinegar gets a mention. It might help reduce appetite slightly and potentially aid digestion too.
Interesting.
And then it lists some traditional herbs, things like fenugreek, Caralluma fimbriata, and Gymnema sylvestre. These have a history of use for appetite control in traditional medicine systems.
Right. And it's not just about what you eat, is it? The guide mentions other strategies too.
Definitely. Behavioral strategies are important. Things like mindful eating, really tuning into your body's hunger and fullness signals. Using smaller plates can actually help psychologically, and incorporating stress reduction techniques. Things like meditation or yoga can help address those emotional eating triggers.
That holistic approach makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's talk energy levels now, because feeling wiped out all the time, that makes it really hard to stick with any healthy habits, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. Low energy can create this really negative cycle. It's hard to be active or make healthy food choices when you're exhausted.
So how does the guide suggest we naturally boost our energy?
It really emphasizes the foundational stuff first. Getting enough sleep is paramount, aiming for 7 to 9 hours of good restorative sleep.
The holy grail for many people.
Tell me about it. Also, eating regular balanced meals. This helps keep blood sugar levels stable, avoiding those big energy peaks and crashes.
Right.
Adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha, rhodiola, and ginseng are mentioned. They potentially help the body adapt to stress and combat fatigue.
Adaptogens, okay.
Staying physically active is key too, even just light movement throughout the day. It improves circulation, gets oxygen flowing, and boosts alertness. And crucially, limiting sugar and highly processed foods helps prevent those energy slumps.
And the guide also points out specific nutrients vital for energy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
B vitamins and magnesium are highlighted as being really essential for how our cells actually produce energy. And the guide makes a great point connecting it all. When you have more energy, you're just naturally more likely to be physically active.
Which then helps your metabolism.
Exactly. And it lifts your mood, improves mental clarity. It becomes this positive feedback loop.
It really is all connected. Okay, let's dive into the gut now. The guide really seems to stress how important a healthy digestive system is, not just for weight, but for overall well-being. Why is that connection so significant?
Well, a digestive system that's working well is just crucial for breaking down food properly and, importantly, absorbing all the essential nutrients your body needs. If that whole process isn't efficient, it can have knock-on effects everywhere, potentially slowing metabolism, impacting your immune system, even contributing to inflammation.
And what are some signs, according to the guide, that maybe your digestion isn't working optimally?
It lists several common things people might notice. Frequent bloating or gas, maybe issues like constipation or diarrhea, feeling really tired after meals.
Yeah, that post-meal slump.
Exactly.
Oh.
Or even noticing signs of nutrient deficiencies, maybe skin problems that could be linked back to gut health.
Not a fun list. So what practical advice does the guide offer for improving digestion naturally?
Several key strategies come up. One is incorporating fermented foods. Think yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi. These bring beneficial probiotics into your gut.
The good bacteria.
Precisely. Taking digestive enzyme supplements can also help some people, assisting the body in breaking down proteins, carbs, and fats more effectively.
Okay.
It's something really simple. Chewing your food thoroughly. Digestion really starts in the mouth.
Good reminder. We often rush our meals.
We do. Avoiding overeating is another one, giving your system time to process. And, surprise, surprise, hydration again. Essential for keeping things moving smoothly in the bowel.
Water strikes again.
It does. The guide also really emphasizes the importance of the gut microbiome, that whole ecosystem of bacteria in your gut. A healthy, diverse microbiome is linked to better metabolism, immunity, and even appetite regulation.
It really does seem like the gut is central to so much of our health. Okay, let's move to inflammation now. The guide talks about this link between chronic inflammation and excess body fat. Can you elaborate on that relationship?
Certainly. Chronic low-grade inflammation is a real concern, especially the kind associated with visceral fat.
That's the deep belly fat, right, around the organs.
Exactly. And that type of inflammation can contribute significantly to problems like insulin resistance, hormonal imbalances, and various metabolic disorders. It's sort of a background hum of dysfunction.
And what are some clues that someone might be dealing with chronic inflammation? What signs does the guide mention?
It points to several potential indicators. Things like persistent fatigue, maybe ongoing joint pain, difficulty concentrating, or that feeling of brain fog. Recurring digestive issues can be a sign, and also that stubborn belly fat that just doesn't seem to shift, even with diet and exercise.
That sounds like things a lot of people experience. So what natural anti-inflammatory strategies does the guide recommend?
Diet is a huge lever here. The guide highlights getting enough omega-3 fatty acids from things like fish oil, flax seeds, walnuts.
Okay.
Turmeric, specifically its active compound curcumin, is mentioned as a powerful natural anti-inflammatory.
Heard a lot about that one.
Yeah, it's very popular. Also, eating a wide variety of antioxidant-rich foods, berries, leafy grains, colorful veggies is crucial for fighting inflammation.
So load up on the plants.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, minimizing processed foods. These are often loaded with sugar, unhealthy trans fats, preservatives, things that can actually promote inflammation.
Makes sense. Anything else?
Green tea comes up again, noted for helping reduce inflammatory markers.
Yeah.
And managing stress is vital. Chronic stress keeps cortisol high, which can fuel inflammation.
Stress management seems key for everything we discussed.
It really is. And the guide points out that reducing inflammation isn't just about weight. It benefits heart health, skin health, joint function. It has widespread positive effects.
It truly does all seem to come full circle, doesn't it? Metabolism, digestion, inflammation, energy, they're all influencing each other constantly.
Yeah, absolutely. They're deeply interconnected.
And the guide really drives that home in its final section, emphasizing this holistic view.
Exactly. It shifts the focus to looking at the root causes, not just chasing individual symptoms. It even gives a practical example, like a sample daily routine, to show how you might integrate all these different strategies.
Yes, I saw that. It kind of walks you through a potential day, starting with lemon water and maybe some turmeric, doing some light stretching or yoga, then having a breakfast rich in protein and fiber, staying hydrated, having balanced lunches with lean protein, whole grains, veggies, maybe anti-inflammatory spices.
All right, covering all the bases.
Making time for a walk or stress management in the afternoon, having an earlier, lighter dinner with healthy fats and more veggies, avoiding processed stuff later on, maybe an herbal tea, aiming for an early bedtime. It's a really useful snapshot.
It really is. It demonstrates how these aren't just random actions, but part of a coordinated effort to support your body's natural rhythms and promote overall well-being.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the guide, what's the main takeaway, the key message you think listeners should really grab onto?
I think the core message is that sustainable weight loss and just genuine wellness, it isn't merely about calorie restriction. Not at all. It's fundamentally about nourishing and supporting your body's own innate systems. Your metabolism, your digestion, how you manage inflammation, your energy cycles, your appetite signals.
So working with your body.
Precisely. It's a holistic journey. It involves nourishing yourself properly, moving your body in ways that feel good and sustainable, prioritizing good sleep, and using natural solutions to help bring everything into a healthier balance.
So it's much more than just following a specific diet plan. It's really about embracing a supportive lifestyle overall.
That's exactly it. Recognizing how all these systems interlink and making those consistent, small, sustainable choices that nurture them day in, day out.
This has been incredibly insightful, really putting those connections together. Now, for you, the listener, here's something to think about. Looking at these interconnected areas we've covered, metabolism, digestion, inflammation, energy, appetite, which one, or maybe ones, resonates most strongly with what you're experiencing right now?
Yeah, where do you feel the biggest challenge or opportunity?
Exactly. And based on that, what's one small, truly sustainable change you could realistically start today or tomorrow to begin gently supporting that particular system within your own body? As you can see, this deep dive offers more than just information. It's really a potential starting point for your own personalized journey toward better health, one that goes way beyond just counting calories.